So today, we're diving into the pretty incredible story of a man who dedicated his entire life to one single audacious mission: building a global education system completely from scratch. This is the amazing story of Venerable Master Hsing Yun. And really, this one sentence, it's the key to understanding everything he ever did. For Master Hsing Yun, faith wasn't just about rituals and worship, no. It was about learning, about growing, about cultivating wisdom. And that belief, it became the engine that drove his entire life. And what was the result of all that drive? Well, his monastic order, Fo Guang Shan, founded not one, not two, but 5 fully accredited universities across the globe. That's right, 5. Just let that sink in for a second. A single religious order building a whole global university system. Which brings us to the big question, right? It's this fascinating paradox that we're going to unpack in this explainer. How does someone who never really had the chance to go to school himself become one of the most important educational founders of our time? Well, let's find out. All right, so to answer that, we've got to go way back to the very beginning. Because this story, it doesn't start with some grand master plan. It starts with just a simple spark of an idea born from a really unique childhood and one single life-changing experience. You know, the foundation of his whole dream really starts with his incredible contrast. Master Hsing Yun grew up during a time of poverty and war, so he had zero access to formal education. His learning came from stories, from the classics. His school was a decade of super strict monastic training. But then one day, he took a shortcut through the campus of Nanjing University, and that changed everything. Just seeing that place, that hub of learning, it sparked this epiphany in his mind and planted a seed. A university education is profoundly important. And that little seed, it didn't just sprout. It grew into this truly radical vision. He realized something bigger. He didn't just want to build schools. He wanted to completely reshape Buddhism itself by putting education right at its very heart. So he's looking around at the Buddhism of his day, and he sees a major problem. He called it old Buddhism, aging, stagnant, kind of disconnected from the rest of society. There's this story about a visiting Japanese monk who even said that he only ever saw old people in Taiwan's temples. Master Hsing Yun's vision was the total opposite of that. A new Buddhism, one that was filled with vibrant, educated young people who would go out and actively improve the world. And this all boiled down to one single, really revolutionary principle: academy before monastery. Now, this idea was a huge deal. It basically meant that developing talented people through education was way more urgent, more fundamental than building these big, grand temples for worship. For him, the future was about people, not buildings. Okay, so having a big vision is great, right? But actually making it happen, especially when you have zero resources, that's a whole other story. And this is where things get, well, pretty incredible. The whole journey starts in this tiny, cramped temple. His first college with a huge success. So huge, in fact, they ran out of space and actually had to use a room meant for funeral urns as a classroom. I mean, can you imagine? So he knew this wasn't going to work long term. He made a massive gamble. He sold off his successful businesses in the city and bought a barren, remote mountain. And what was the very first thing he built on that land? Not a massive prayer hall, it was a school, the Eastern Buddhist Academy. He was literally living his principle. And his commitment? It was absolute. We're not just talking about asking other people to sacrifice. He famously said that if his students ever ran out of food, he himself would go to funeral parlors and chant all night long just to earn enough money to feed them. That's pure dedication to the mission. And all that relentless dedication, well, it eventually paid off on a scale that's almost hard to wrap your head around. His vision of an academy grew into a truly global classroom. Just look at this. The result was a global network. The University of the West in the USA, Nanhua and Fo Guang universities over in Taiwan, Nantian University down in Australia, and Guangming College in the Philippines. 5 universities on 4 different continents, all from that one idea he had walking through a campus decades earlier. And his vision went way beyond just higher education. He built a whole pathway from start to finish. Kindergartens, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools. He even built community colleges for lifelong learners. And on top of all that, 17 Buddhist seminaries around the world train the next generation of teachers and leaders. It's a complete cradle-to-grave system, and it's all focused on learning. Okay, but wait a minute. All of this, it begs a massive question. How in the world do you pay for all this? So this final section gets into the really innovative ways he funded this dream and reveals the ultimate purpose behind it all. To really get a sense of the financial mountain he was climbing, you just have to hear this one story. When he was founding Nanhua University, there was a misunderstanding, and the university ended up committed to giving the first 4 entering classes a totally free 4-year education. Now, instead of backing down, he honored that promise. It created a staggering financial burden, but it proved his unwavering commitment to making education accessible to everyone. So, yeah, how did they do it? With no big corporate sponsors, no government money, where did the billions of dollars required to build and sustain all these institutions come from? Well, the answer lies in 2 incredibly creative and deeply personal approaches. First, there was the Million Person Campaign, a grassroots movement asking 1 million people to donate just a small amount every month. It basically made everyone a co-founder. Second, and maybe most personally, was his one-stroke calligraphy. See, as his eyesight was failing, he developed this unique style where he'd finish a piece in one single, continuous brushstroke. He created thousands of these, and every single cent went to fund education. But what was the ultimate point of it all? This quote really reveals his true motivation. For him, education wasn't just an end in itself. It was a tool to bring wisdom to the world, to create a positive legacy for his followers, and ultimately to help bring success to the times we live in. And that leaves us with one final thought. The story of Master Hsing Yun isn't just about religion, and it's not just about education. It's a powerful answer to a really fundamental question. What is the absolute limit of what one person, with one single unwavering belief and a lifetime of relentless action, can truly achieve?